Hello, it's 1 o'clock and welcome to my studio. My name's Dion Swift. If this is the first time that you have joined me on my DDD, Daily Dose of Dion, I am doing daily or weekday broadcasts from my studio, just for about 20 minutes to show you a little of what I do, to impart some knowledge, hopefully some inspiration, and hello Carol, hello Vicky. Maybe answer some of your questions if I can read them quickly enough in the timeline, and to offer you the odd project, keep in touch with you, give you some structure in your day, give me some structure in my day, give me a reason to get up and put some makeup on, all those kinds of things. And you know, hi Fiona, you know that many of you know, hi Suzanne, many of you know that yesterday with the African Fabric Shop and with Janice Gunner, I launched a new project that we're doing together, which is the virtual log cabin quilt. So we're making a ginormous quilt of log cabin blocks, but virtually. And so we are wanting lots and lots of these. And at the top of my page, my Facebook page, you will find a link to the web page with all the information and a submission form so that you can submit your image once you've created your block. And hello Angela, hello Claire. And then I will, and Bob and Maggie will, compile these images together and put them on our websites so that you can see what you're part of. You can see that you're part of this bigger virtual community. You're not on your own. There's lots of us doing our own thing in our own way, and we're bringing you all together. Hi Jane, hi Sandra, hi Angela. We're going to try and bring you all together. At some stage, maybe in the future, we may well be able to bring all the pieces together in reality, in the real world, rather than in the ether. But for now, hi Mike, yes, I'm very well, thank you. Good to hear from you, glad you're watching. For now, we'll keep it just in this virtual world because that's all we can do. So please don't send anything in the post. We've already had a flurry of submissions, which is just fantastic. Once we're up to about 50, which I think will be in the next couple of days, I will start to make the quilt a real thing on my website, and I will let you know about that so that you can see it and you can find your own piece. You don't need to rush to do this. There's plenty of time. We're not going anywhere, let's face it. But you could think about personalising your piece. The thing we ask is that it's log cabin. Log cabin signifies home. We're all at home. But it also, all these logs, as they twirl round this centre point, they're kind of giving that central middle section a big hug. And hi Rachel, they're giving it a big hug. And that's one of the things that I love about this particular block. It's a big cuddle, and a quilt is a cuddle as well, which is all these reasons of why we're doing it. And the square in the middle, always a yellow square please, because that is kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. In kind of going back away, having a yellow square in the middle would be the equivalent of putting a light on at a window to welcome people back home, to welcome people back to a community, back to a village. If it had been a red square, it's kind of like the fire on in the hearth. So we're going to go for a yellow square. Like I say, all the details are on my website, on the link right at the top of my timeline. I've pinned it to the top of my Facebook page. So please go there, please share. Please do this even if you are not a sewer. If you are a regular sewer, you know what you're doing. Please share that information and virtually instruct other people to do it. maybe children or grandchildren, you can teach them to do this and do this with them, and they can each submit a piece. And it could be recycled fabric, whatever they've got at home. They can hand stitch rather than machine stitch. It's absolutely fine. They could add extra quilting, decorative stitches on top if they want to. It's a real opportunity to be very creative. So we'd just like you all to get involved. We need you to share, and we need you to upload those submissions. All the info is on my page. We're going to update the PDF shortly and post it there too, and we're going to look at getting it translated into lots of different languages, because this is a global project. We're in the midst of a global problem, and you know, I was thinking about this last night. I am not a health professional. My family will tell you that I'm not very good at that caring kind of thing. But this is my one offering to help, is a distraction to everybody else, because I'm not great in hospitals and I can't do that kind of thing. So I can do this. I can distract, I can smile, and I can give you something to occupy your minds, keep your fingers busy. Okay, so enough of that. I thought today what I really wanted to talk about, seeing as I have got my embroidery workshop coming up online next week. It starts on Monday, and my drawing for textiles starts on Monday as well. Both of those, I brought them forward from the autumn, which was their scheduled time slot, but I brought them forward and I've extended them, so you have much more time to watch the videos, do the lessons, be involved with our private classrooms on Facebook, and engage with me. Those two workshops are different to the other two that I've got going on online, because the other two, sketchbooks and silkscreen printing, they're self-directed. Drawing for textiles and embroidery online are much bigger projects with direct interaction with me. So I'm going to be busy from next Monday. Thinking ahead to that, I have dragged out a collection of my sewing machines. I will admit these are just some. There are more in Italy. But, you know, maybe I don't have so many shoes as some people. I have sewing machines, fabric and thread. So what I'm going to do, just pick this little phone up and I'll swizz it round and you can see the first machine. And if you've got some questions, I will endeavour to read and answer them as quickly as I can. Off we go. Machine numero uno. So I've kind of tilted it a little bit because normally it's out facing out of the studio. So this is the view out the studio that I tend to look at while I'm working. So I've tilted my machine on the table a little so that you can see. This is a long arm machine. And by that I mean this throat distance from the needle to the right hand inside edge is larger than your average sewing machine. And this is a Janome Horizon Memory Craft 8900 for those who really want to know. It can do a plethora of stitches. It looks kind of computerized and fancy. It's faster and bigger than some machines. This one can do 1100 stitches a minute. Woohoo! Your average sewing machine can do 800 stitches a minute. So this one is going a bit faster, and because it's got this big throat area here, it means I can put a bigger hoop in, so I can work on a bigger area. This is an extender table, and the bonus of this particular one is that it's clear. So let me just grab a sketchbook. When I'm working here, I can pop a sketchbook underneath and I can refer to the image on the sketchbook while I sew. Da-da, da-da. and it makes it really easy for me to refer to my drawings while I work. This machine does, it does a whole host of stuff. It's all up here. Hundreds and hundreds of stitches. If I'm honest, I don't really use a lot of them. But this is the machine now that I tend to keep, for dressmaking and also for quilting more than anything. It does lots of lettering. Can you see along the bottom there? There's loads of letters, and you can program in lots of words. So for instance, I can put Dion Swift, textile artist, in, and it will kind of almost like type it out for me, and I can put a label on the back of my work. So this machine is super useful for that. At first I was a little bit scared by this screen, and if I just swizzle around, this is how I would select a particular stitch. And until I'd got this, I hadn't had anything quite so fancy. I was quite a simple girl. And I was a little bit scared by it to start off with. But as with anything else, you get used to it. And it doesn't do the work for you. That's one thing you should know. It really doesn't do it for you. You still have to be on it. You can't go away and make a cup of tea like some embroidery machines. So big computerized embroidery machines, you kind of can do that. Now, this is the machine I'm working on most at the moment. I'm going to turn this machine around a little bit as well. Ooh, it's very heavy, this one. It's kind of in the dark a little bit. There we go. So this one is the one that I'm using most at the moment for free machine embroidery. And this one, if I go back, is a Janome 1600p professional. And that's what I am. I'm a professional, so I get a big machine. And it also is a fairly long arm. It's not actually as big as the Horizon over there, but it's still pretty big. But key thing is with this baby, it does 1600 stitches per minute. So we zoom in there. 1600 stitches a minute and very little else. But it does those 1600 stitches beautifully. It actually is only meant to straight stitch. But if you have a look down here, I've taken the teeth out so that I can free machine embroider. So this is what's known as a free motion convertible quilting foot, which is a bit of a mouthful, but that allows me to have a foot on there, because that's pretty important from a safety perspective, and for getting a better stitch quality actually. And then so that's on there, no teeth, so I can go in any which direction. The other good feature about this particular machine is that it's got this here, which is external tensioning, which is more sensitive than some of the tensioning in other models. It has one motor that deals with the needle, and then it has another motor that allows you to wind on spools. So that means you can do two jobs at once. You can go a bit slower if you really want to, but kind of pointless. But it doesn't do a lot. It hasn't got many dials, knobs and whistles. And for me, that's really quite useful. Now, I've got another version of this in Italy, which in fact is bigger and better. It's the newer version. It's called HD9. And it's got an even bigger throat to it, and it runs even better than this one. But this is the machine that I use for my free machine embroidery. Now, any machine can do free machine embroidery, and it really is the operator that needs the instruction with free machining. So my other little machine that I've pulled out, I'm going to swizz it round because then it's in the light, natural light. This is an embellisher, and this is a very geeky day today, isn't it? This is Machine Geek Day. This is an embellisher, and if you've never used an embellisher before, they're an awful lot of fun. They have, I mean, why pull this up here? It needs a good clean, my embellisher. I'm planning on putting together, look, you can see the needles there. There are 5 needles and each one is barred. Can I get any closer than that for you to see? There you go. They're all barred. If one of those needles goes through your finger, it's a bit like a fishing hook, and you have to take it all the way through or it hurts bringing it out. And so there's a really good guard on this machine. It looks like quite an innocent machine other than that, because there are no dials, so there's nothing here. There's no tensioning, there's no thread. Really, all those barb needles do, oh, let me get you in place. Those barb needles go up and down, up and down, up and down, and they punch the fibres of 2 different fabrics together, or punch fibres of wool and yarn and fleece and wool tops together, and you can do needle punching, stuff like that with it. It's really useful. I used it a lot in earlier projects. Yes, Sandra, you should get yours out again. Something that is definitely worth playing with, for sure. I am planning on creating a little online workshop using said machine. I ran, a few years back, I ran a very successful, very popular workshop called Painterly, here we go again, Painterly Embellishments at Janome. Janome's headquarters in Stockport, and I thought I'd kind of put that together as an online workshop for you, just a little quickie, and I'll go around to that in shortly. I seem to be overwhelmed with quite a lot of admin at the moment. I found a little gap and then I filled it. I found some space and made it chock-a-block. Hey ho, such is the way. I've got one more machine out that I want to show you, which is kind of a dual machine. It's great. So these first 2, the fast one, great for free machining, solid as a rock, metal bodied machine. First one, fantastic for really big work because it's big long arm machine, really good. I use it for my dressmaking, use it for quilt making. But if you were only going to look at one machine and you needed it kind of do a bit of everything, the next machine I'm going to show you is it, as far as I am concerned. Jane Embellishment Workshop, yes, I will get onto that when I can. So this machine, here we go. This one is kind of a do-all, in my opinion. This bit comes up here too. It does about 200 odd stitches. And it does have an extension table. I just haven't got it out at the minute. It's a memory craft. This one is the 6,600, but I have the 6,700 in Italy, and it's bigger. So again, it has this bigger throat, and it does 1,200 stitches a minute. So it's pretty fast. It's got this external tensioning again, which I think is an improvement on internal tensioning. It's more sensitive. It comes with its own thread stand, which is very useful. It can do all the lettering and all that malarkey, but it's really strong and fast for free machining because it's metal, it's heavy, so it's very solid. It's also got the 2 motors, so it's got a separate motor up there for winding on bobbins. You can see in the background my silver lining piece. It's still on the wall. Haven't done anything with it. Got a bit distracted with this project malarkey and quilting, but I will get to it. That's my next thing. I'll make a list. You can try and hold me to it. So there we go. That's my day today. I'm going to swizzle around so the light's not behind me. If you've got any questions about my machines, you can get in touch with me. I'm pretty overwhelmed on social media at the minute, but that's not a bad thing. Please have a look at my website with the virtual log cabin quilt project. Please share that. Please come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock because I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I never know till about 5 minutes before. It's not that I'm not planning it. I'm thinking about it all the time subconsciously, but I don't like to commit myself too soon. So I don't know what's going to be on the agenda tomorrow. You will just have to tune in and find out. I try and post every day's live feed on my Facebook page, so you can catch it again there. But I have found a way to put it onto YouTube. So if you find me on YouTube, you will at the moment find last week's editions, or more than last week's. There was some the week before as well. So there are 8 broadcasts there from last week on my YouTube channel. Just search Dion Swift, you will find it. And I'll put some mental activity into putting together a painterly embellishments workshop for you. If you're interested in embroidery, then the embroidery workshop and the drawing for textiles starts next week. Drawing for textiles is great for loosening up your drawing, for finding a kind of more abstract aesthetic, but it doesn't have to be abstract. I guess that's the way I see the world, but you may not, and that's absolutely fine. If you want loads and loads and loads of techniques for free machine embroidery and for using your sewing machine in general for slightly more diverse ideas, then the embroidery workshop would be something that might suit you. Have a look at it and have a look at the reviews that people have left in various different places. Some of them on this page, some of them on my website, some of them are embedded in the information on the workshop itself. But please have a look, and I shall see you at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I am now going off to scrub my house just a little bit more because we've got a virtual viewing of our house this afternoon with someone in America. So the internet is continually astounding me with its ability to keep our world turning. So I'm going to scrub like crazy and hope it all goes well. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye now.